Penny dragged the now unconscious detective into her house and locked it up for a few days. Detective was not infected, however, which has Tio curious, though he does nothing. For now, anyway. With Mrs. P now on the loose, Lucella City turned into chaos as Mrs. P attacked civilian after civilian. The infection spread rapidly, infecting Ellie, Georgie's grandma, and Pony's father in the process. Pony was able to escape the horde of infected and took shelter in a nearby forest. The mall security bot Robbie was quickly made ready for combat as the growing number of infected became a larger and larger problem. Mousy, who was in the mall at the time, attempted to escape the onslaught of infected and Robbie, but was infected shortly before hiding in the mall vents. Lucella City had fallen, and the infection spreading rapidly. In the chaos that ensued around Lucella City, Rash was able to get out and fled to the alley, where he found Tigray. Rash would befriend Tigray and explain what was happening and that they should prepare for the infection coming their way. Tigray looked to Rash like a true friend as no one had ever helped him before. Father would arrive at the alley and begin infecting civilians on the street and in buildings surrounding the alley. Tigray and Rash occupy a long hallway before Rash was unfortunately infected. Rather than leave him, Tigray took him to the farthest room down the hall and boarded it up, ensuring none could find him or that Rash could infect anyone else. Tigray then set up a place he could stay in the alley with whatever he could find. Fortunately, the infected did not go into the alley anymore. Mother arrived at Lucella Station where she was able to infect Polly and other officers and potentially prisoners. Some decided to hide while others fled. Before the officers left or were infected, Doggy was notified on his day off that something happened at the station. One officer expressed concern for Detective as they haven't been heard from. A now infected Polly walked by Willow's cell and dropped a key to her cell. She was able to get out and return to the alley to get anything she could find. Willow went to a long hallway where she found Rash, now infected, but safe behind a barricade. She left Rash and returned to her old room she considered a home with a lit torch, looking at it for one last time before taking Daisy's note and dropping the torch and committing arson. She continued along the alleys and found Tigray by a makeshift fire. Cold and scared, Tigray was fearful of Willow as she put down her backpack and took something out. Tigray covered his face in fear of what was going to happen, but Willow assured him she was not going to hurt him and offered a scarf she had taken out of her pack. After the chaos surrounding the station, Sheepy is attacked at the forest while in the presence of Bunny. Bunny is forced to flee to safety as Sheepy is infected and makes her way towards the gallery. Georgie entered Lucella City in search of his grandma but found out that the city was no longer safe. He quickly made his way to the mall guarded by a now slightly damaged Robbie where he found an isolated room he could hide in. Back at the Piggy residence, Detective wakes up in an upstairs bedroom and realizes they need to get out, being chased by Penny while grabbing keys to unlock a ground floor storage room, an upstairs storage room, and backyard shed housing the Wells gearbox. Detective would then grab the wrench in the shed and use the wrench on the locked front door. They found a plank in the bathroom of all places and used it to get to the other side on the top floor, used the wrench on the right side room to deactivate the laser gate, and grabbed the key to the basement garage? Who built this house? Anyway, Detective would then grab both the hammer in the garage storage room along with the safe key. They would use the safe key in the basement to get the front door access code and knock off boards to the front door. Curious to where the front door key is, Detective would look down the well and found the key, but it would be too far down to grab. After which they would grab a red gear from the living room, break a blocked off vent in the basement, grab the green gear and use them on the well's gearbox to activate it, bringing the well's bucket upward. Detective would then grab the key and get out of the house, leaving all their tools behind, which makes sense if they won't use them again. Hopefully that won't happen. Detective questions what just happened and why Penny was attacking them. Detective then decided to get back to the station to get help from other officers. Shortly after, Doggy arrived at the station but was surprised to see that the other officers left already and that Mother was patrolling the halls. He then barricaded himself in the garage to avoid getting attacked. Detective pulled up to the station and walked through the front door, surprised that no one was there. They shouted asking if anyone was there and was greeted by Doggy on the intercom, warning them about infected in the station. Shocked that there is another infected, Detective would collect keys to the officer's room and sewer room. They grab a hammer from the officer's room, break off the boards to the garage door, and break a board off the cell to get a key to the courtyard. They then find a battery and a key to a safe located in the officer's room and unlock the garage door with a key inside the safe. They then find a plank that they use to get across the very questionable sewage in another room. They then grab a key on the other side and open a cell block storage room. Detective grabs a wrench and uses it to deactivate the laser gate to the conference room to collect a battery and on the garage door. Detective finds Doggy but is told to go find gas so they can get out with the car Doggy is sitting in. Detective runs back to the courtyard and plugs 2 batteries to the container to get gas. Don't ask why gas is out here, I have no idea. Detective fills the car and the two take off with Mother following them. Doggy says to Detective they were lucky he showed up on his day off, but Detective counters saying Doggy is lucky that it got gas. Doggy acknowledges this and the two talk about what to do after the infection started. Doggy suggests they find what started this and asks if Detective still has his skills as a detective. Detective responds that they hope so, now more than ever. Doggy then asks how much gas was in the jerry can. Well, after running out of gas...
You see, guys, your friend.
Friend? Uh-oh.
After running out of gas and getting surrounded by Mother, Father, and Sheepy, the detective and Doggy rush into the nearby gallery building intended to escape through the back door, but they unfortunately followed in by the father. The detective grabs a key in the dino skeleton room and makes their way upstairs and opens a storage room where they grab another key in the room in the back of the building where they grab a wrench and 2 keys, one of which was from a nearby room. Cornered by Father, Detective is forced to drop down a vent to escape Father. They use the wrench to disable the nearby laser gate that has an egg on the other side and power the back door shortly after. They then use the other key to unlock an egg room where they placed the egg they found earlier. They then unlock the garage and find the other egg, which they place with the other eggs, break a glass portrait to get to the back door key. What? Anyway, they look for something to break boards on the back door and find a plank which they use to get across the gap to get a hammer. They then break the boards and get out of the gallery with Doggy. Detective and Doggy catch their breath in the alley and the detective questions why the infected don't stop chasing them. Doggy responds saying that he doesn't understand either, but they have been through worse, remembering the arrest they made on Willow and Rash a while back. Detective reminds him that they aren't arresting the infected, and that all they do is attack. Doggy remarks how good a person Detective is. Even in desperate times, they held on to their morality. He reminds Detective that those kinds of people succeed, and they don't stop being that person. Detective agrees on his statement, and Doggy decides that they should find a safer place. Detective agrees, and the two make their way out of the alley.
Hey Ed, I got you your friend back. You can go play with them.
Oh, oh no, 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 stop it, stop it!
Anyway, more places are turned into infected playgrounds, including the carnival, where Clowny is infected, store, where Dessa is infected, and Metro, where this thing. You get the point. As the infected began to pour into the sewers below, workers in the sewers fought off the many infected that came in. At some point, Tio began to influence some of the workers. One worker began to fear Tio as he tried to take control of the worker. Another realized that there are too many infected, and with the workers beginning to falter, they ordered the sewers be flooded in an attempt to keep the infected from reaching the factory above. A third worker, possibly Coley, decided to devote themselves to Tio and remain down in the sewers as it began to flood. The flood was successful in that the sewers under the factory were safe, with the exception of Alphys. Willow and Tigray traveled to a forest where they found Pony holding a picture of Zizzy. Willow asked Pony if he would join them, and he agreed. The new group formed would be called the Silver Paw, or TSP for short. The group was gaining members including Pandy, Katie, and Philip. The group took up residence in the now abandoned factory. Willow would go out and recruit more members, this being Baron, Kitty, Felix, and Foxy. Tigray would be part of this group but was not treated well. Foxy, on the other hand, was well liked by the members. The second group would take over a rundown refinery. Someone who was already hiding in the refinery saw the group coming and decided to hide, fearing them more than the infected. Who this was and what happened to them is unknown. The refinery would then be renamed to Settlement 6. Somehow they got Pulley and brought him into Settlement 6, and I don't know how, and I don't really care. Sometime after escaping from the gallery, Detective and Doggy set up camp in an abandoned forest camp, where they stayed for a few weeks. The infected have made their way to a military outpost where a hidden plant is located, along with soldiers stationed there. They issue a statewide evacuation order, though some of the soldiers are ordered to stay behind and defend the outpost. They begin to get infected and call for backup, but it is far too late. One soldier makes a message on a chalkboard, perhaps as a last effort before losing all control, and leave behind a message on what happened to them and how they are now. Backup arrives at the outpost in the form of torture. They are able to burn many of the infected, but are quickly surrounded and infected themselves. Over at Doveport, Marcus wanders in looking for an adventure, but is surrounded by multiple dark creatures. Wanting to leave, Tio offers Marcus a way out, one that Marcus would regret taking. On Lucella's side of the sea, the infection makes its way to the port and the town close by. It would begin at a blue apartment building in the upper floor as an infected occupant slowly lost control and infected the town. Someone decided to barricade the top floor of a diner, finding safety. The lighthouse keeper made the difficult decision to lock the lighthouse from the inside, listening to the screaming civilians. The keeper would hold on for a few days with food and power running low. The keeper would eventually give in and free their burdens of being alone and join the infected horde. With the fall of the outpost, the infection spread across the North Sea, causing the military to create bases to counter the infected, abandoning the Lucella side of the North Sea. At the factory, TSP members began to sneak into the sewers below to hang out, but quickly found Alphys, who possibly infected some members, causing them to be relocated. Now that Lucella's died down, a group consisting of Zizzy, Zuzi, Z, Giraffe, and Mimi, who is a friend of Kona's, made their way to the heart of Lucella, where they take over a large multi-story building and create a wall for safety. Giraffe then sets up a garden where the group can stockpile food. At the hospital, Mr. P attempts to create another cure while being influenced by Tio. He, and what is left of the research team, are able to make a cure big enough for 3 potions. The researchers think the potions are the cure for the infection, but Tio has other ideas. A TSP group consisting of Willow, Pony, Pandy, Philip, and Katie go out to Lucelle City and search for what I presume is the cause of the infection and supplies. They learn that Mr. P is responsible for the infection and that the hospital has the supplies they need. The group raided the hospital with Mr. P and staff offering no resistance, seeing as TSP brought weapons. They gathered the supplies they needed along with the 5th potion and left. They continued to loot places, including the store, which is right next to an underground metro station near the hospital, before returning to the factory. At the forest, Detective and Doggy get back from a possible supply run, and Detective talks about how familiar the infected were and questions if they were friends. Doggy ignores this, saying it's getting very late and they should go to sleep. Willow was able to follow them back to the forest, dragging Pony along with the potion. Willow instructs Pony to give the potion to Doggy, which he did. Doggy then wakes up and chases both Pony and Willow away before becoming infected, all while Detective is asleep. Mr. P convinces Bunny to go look for survivors, but really he wants to go look for Mrs. P. They take the sixth potion and travel to the forest where they were chased by their former researcher member, Sheepy. While running away, Bunny drops her radio as they make their way to the school, leaving Sheepy at the forest. At the school, teacher, who has made the building her home, lets them in. At some point, Mr. P and Bunny separate and Mr. P gives teacher the sixth potion, possibly under Tio's influence. Mr. P then flees to the school sewers while teacher becomes infected. Bunny finds out the hard way and locks herself in a hidden security room. Teacher would then write an encrypted message on a chalkboard about what she is experiencing. Detective then wakes up by a campfire and an empty bottle and wonders where Doggy is as he is nowhere to be seen. Detective wanders around and finds a now infected Doggy. Detective is very confused and wonders what happened. Doggy doesn't chase Detective though for unknown reasons. Detective doesn't want to take any chances however and keeps their distance. Unfortunately, Sheepy made her way into the forest and Detective has to get out. This is made difficult, however, as Detective and Doggy did a way too good of a job securing the forest. Detective picks up keys to unlock multiple cabins along with a hammer, plank, a generator key, and a safe key. Detective uses the plank to get into the large tower where they then open a safe to get a wrench and a key to access the tent next to it. They open up the tent gate and grab an unlit torch. They then unlock a generator gate, activate it, then break boards off the exit and on a cave as well as activating another generator. They then light the torch with a campfire and melt an ice cube in the cave containing the exit key. They grab the key and activate the last generator located in a nearby cabin and get out. Detective then hears the sound of a nearby radio with Mr. P on the other side asking if anyone was there. Detective picks it up and Mr. P introduces himself and tells Detective to rescue Bunny from the school. Detective travels to the front of the school and enters. Detective finds out Mr. P forgot to mention teacher and has to avoid her. Detective makes their way to an office room where they grab a key to the cafe and then grab a key to a nearby classroom. Detective unlocks the classroom and grabs a wrench. They make their way towards an open classroom where they find an empty potion bottle and a book. They then make their way through a hall and grab another key to a nearby classroom where they find a red gear. They then head upstairs and place the book on a bookshelf and open the hidden security room, releasing Bunny. She thanks Detective and introduces herself, then advises they should leave. Grabbing a green gear in the security room, they make their way to the sewer stairs and drain the water. Detective powers on the door and grabs a locker key from a nearby room. The two then make their way back up to find something to break the boards on the sewer door and find the key to the same door. Detective disables a laser gate to the gym. Why is there a deadly laser at a school? Moving on. They find the key to the sewer door and make their way upstairs to unlock a locker and take the hammer inside. They then make their way to the sewer and open the door to find Mr. P. Mr. P congratulates Bunny and Detective for making it out, but Detective suddenly falls ill and passes out. Mr. P and Bunny carry Detective through the sewers and they make their way to the hospital and put Detective on a stretcher where Bunny escorts them to be helped by people in the hospital while Detective hallucinates Doggy. Detective remains unconscious for a few days with Mr. P, Bunny, and others looking after them. The researchers do some tests on Detective and found out that they had traces of the infection in them. Meanwhile, Willow and Pony return to the factory, but Pony feels extremely guilty about what he did. Willow tells the members at the factory about what happened at the forest, then leaves the factory and goes to the refinery to relay the same message. Looking at Zizzy's picture, Pony realizes that this is not what he wanted and desires to be reunited with Zizzy, which catches the attention of Tio. He offers Pony a chance to see his family again, but Pony refuses. Pony wreaks havoc on the factory, causing damage to its surrounding buildings and casualties to TSP. Some of the members saw Pony walking away with what we can only assume is something resembling Tio as he kept trying to influence Pony. Pony returns to the safe place in Lucella City where he reunites with Zizzy. He then tells Zizzy about TSP and Willow. Willow arrives at the refinery and tells the members there what happened at the forest. A few of the members, including Foxy, did not like what they just heard, calling the members that did support Willow's decision to basically murder Doggy maniacs. This small group left under Foxy's leadership, taking the members away just as Doggy took Willow away from her family. Willow gets wind of this and goes after Foxy herself, with possibly other members loyal to her. Foxy's group flees to the carnival where they find Clowny. The group are able to blow a hole in the back of a small room to get out, but Foxy takes a direct blow to the head from Clowny's hammer, causing him to go unconscious with a concussion and memory loss. The other members looking to escape TSP decide to leave Foxy behind, believing him to be infected. Willow catches up to Foxy in the carnival and finds him unconscious but alive. With hatred as much as she hated Doggy, she locks him up in a cage, calling him a monster. She also finds the key to a small building and locks it, throwing the key in with Foxy, ensuring that if someone is trying to free Foxy, they would have a lot harder time getting out. Foxy wakes up just as Willow's group are ready to leave and questions why they would lock him up, not remembering what he just did hours ago. He would be infected shortly after. Willow would then return to the factory where she learned of what Pony did to the group. Back at the hospital, it is unfortunately attacked by infected. Barry and Bunny are attacked, but Barry was attacked more severely. Mr. P gives Bunny the seventh and last potion he would give. Mr. P tells Bunny they will be ready to leave on a helicopter from the roof, but he quickly realizes that he had made a big mistake and that Bunny is now taking Time Bomb. Mr. P takes the rest of his research team, which is pretty much just Badgie at this point, into the helicopter and leaves, writing one last note to Bunny while she is watching over Detective. Detective finally wakes up, but Bunny says it's no longer safe at the hospital. Detective asks how long they were out, but she doesn't respond, instead saying Mr. P was waiting for them on the roof. Detective finds out that Barry is now on the loose and has to get out quickly. They grab a keycard to access the far staircase to go up along with a hammer. They get another 2 cards from the cafe and unlock the other side of the hospital, along with unlocking the security room where they grab a plank and an empty flask. Detective places the plank to gain access to the roof door and breaks off boards to the door, but still needs a key. They go around the top floor, breaking open a boarded off room where they grab another card, which they use to unlock the front check-in desk where they grab another empty flask. They then fill up the flasks with a pink and green liquid before using them to open a pressure-sensitive safe containing the key to the roof door. They get to the roof only to find that Mr. P had already left. Both of them are shocked, but Bunny eventually says they should find another way out. Detective agrees and turns to walk towards the door. Bunny finds the note that Mr. P left and stands still for a moment. Detective asks if Bunny is going with, and she replies that she will. Detective and Bunny make their way down to the Wait, what are you doing?
Detective and Bunny make their way down to the metro, but Bunny says she needs rest. Detective assures that everything will be fine and that they will escape. Detective then leaves Bunny as they go to find a way to repair a train stopped there. While being chased by a green rotten infected, Detective grabs keys to a room near the train and downstairs file room. The downstairs file room contains another key and a coin. The room near the train contains a hammer to which Detective removes the boards on the train door along with the boarded up downstairs, which a wrench in it. Detective uses the wrench to power on the train, but still needs a key to open the train door. Detective uses the key they found earlier to open up a locked hallway and finds a key to a safe. In the safe is yet another key. This key goes to another downstairs file room containing another coin. Detective finds the train key, but is blocked by a toll pole which he can't jump over or crawl under. Anyway, Detective finds the keycard needed to raise the pole in a vending machine that costs 2 coins. They insert the coin to get the card, raise the pole, grab the key, and open the door. Detective excitedly tells Bunny the train is working, but she doesn't respond, worried for their friend. Detective asks if she's okay. Bunny then tells Detective that Mr. P gave her a potion that she drank but didn't know she would turn into an infected. Detective still encourages her to go with them to find Mr. P, but Bunny says they need to leave without her.
Detective attempts to convince her again, but it is immediately shut down, and Bunny says she will fight off the infected for as long as possible, realizing there is no point in convincing her to go with. Detective bids Bunny farewell.
Bunny wishes them good luck, and Detective starts the train and takes off.
Hey, this is my video, get off.
Whatever.
Bunny wakes up sometime later to laughter, thinking it was her sister Bonnet. She grabs her crossbow and heads in the direction Detective went, but it is blocked off. She turns around and makes her way deeper into the metro while the infection is slowly distorting her mind, and she sees a laughing shadow run into a door on her left. Curious, Bunny follows the shadow and finds a locked door. Looking through some lockers, she finds a key and continues into a station. She finds a screwdriver in a nearby room and makes her way up, finding an infected. She shoots it and continues up, but needs a ticket to get through a gate. She turns back and breaks into some rooms until she finds a ticket. She continues on, shooting another infected, and follows another laughing shadow into a storage room. She goes through a door, and at the end of the room is that of a hospital where she sees shadows of Mr. P and Sheepy. The illusion ends, and Bunny continues into another storage room where she grabs a plank outside of it, shoots another infected, and places the plank to get to the other side of the metro platform. She shoots another infected outside the bathrooms and finds a key to the employee's room and grabs a shovel. She jumps down on the tracks and clears a dirt pile and continues down it, entering a large area with a catwalk above. She goes up nearby stairs with a minor delay and attempts to get to the other side, but the catwalk is gone. She gets on a fan blade to the opposite catwalk and enters a room to find a fan blade, attaches it to a fan, and gets to the original catwalk. She gets a maintenance key and makes her way back down, bang, and opens the maintenance tunnel. She makes her way through and gets an axe, but needs to shut off valves of steam to continue further. She does and follows another shadow into a room and hallucinates seeing two shadows arguing. The illusion ends and Bunny continues into an air duct and makes her way through a series of fans, using the axe to stop one of them. She then enters a tall room, bang, and finds a weak patch on the floor. She finds a lever in a locker and a burlap sack in a nearby room and sets up the crane system above to try and break the floor patch. The patch breaks, revealing a vent shaft that leads into a metro track. She gets down and is immediately forced to run left as a distorted, monstrous rabbit emerges through the wall and begins to chase Bunny. Bunny makes her way through and shoots a lock on her left, entering it, and is immediately taken on a trip through memory lane. She falls into darkness after the memories and wakes up outside. She gets up and hollers if anyone is there, only to realize she is surrounded by infected and misplaced her crossbow. With no other choice, she readies herself, but the infected are taken out by someone with a flame. That someone was Sheepy, and she was shocked to see Bunny. Bunny rushes forward and gives Sheepy a hug, saying she thought Sheepy was gone. Sheepy tries to give Bunny a hug, but doesn't, saying she missed Bunny too. Bunny backs up confused, stating she saw Sheepy attacked in the forest, curious how Sheepy is here. Sheepy says she will tell her, but first they should leave. Sheepy gestures for Bunny to follow, but Bunny is concerned for her sisters. Sheepy assures Bunny that if they learned anything from Bunny, they will be fine. Bunny thinks about this, then agrees. Sheepy offers Bunny her hand, saying they are waiting for her. Bunny takes it and the two walk along a dirt path through a forest together, reunited as infected.